Hi everyone, TRGT here with a fresh and new video. But before we get started, I want to apologize to you guys first for not uploading a video on the channel in quite a while. There are a number of reasons as to why I couldn't and didn't feel like making WoW content on YouTube. For starters, my girlfriend got hospitalized for 4 days, which was really shitty, but she's back home and healthy, and that's what matters. After my girlfriend got hospitalized, I got sick and my voice was basically gone. You guys can probably still hear that I'm still a little bit sick, but it's already way better. Last but not least, I got kind of burned out on BFA like so many others. As of late, I really had to force myself in playing the game. In Legion, I loved making guides on all of the different classes and figuring out the perfect rotation and stuff. But in BFA, the overall class design is so underwhelming and I just couldn't get myself into getting another class to max level. For now, I will keep playing WoW, but I'm only doing Mythic Plus and Raids, and I really don't care about all of the other stuff anymore. I will still finish the basic class guides for the current patch, and only make advanced guides on the classes that I raid with, which are Warlock and Warrior. And let's hope patch 8.1 will bring out traits that do impact rotation and playstyle a bit more, which will hopefully reignite the spark for making new class guides in patch 8.1. We'll see. Which brings us to the subject of the video, the future of the Azerite gear, and will patch 8.1 fix the Azerite problem, or will it make absolutely zero difference? Okay, to completely understand how big of a problem the Azerite system really is, we need to take a good look at the bigger picture here, and by doing so we have to go all the way back to when people were testing out BFA. During alpha and beta testing, the sober people were already giving feedback and making videos on how bad the actual system really was, and how it would never be able to replace all of the things we had to leave behind in Legion. But even with all of the feedback and critiques surrounding the Azerite gear, a lot of people were still believing like, hey, it's still the beta version of the game, and that during the live version things would be better. Well, guess what? That didn't happen, and I'm pretty sure Blizzard didn't give a flying shit about any of the players' feedback surrounding the Azerite gear and traits. Do you really think that they would go like, apparently the Azerite system isn't working, guys? I think we should listen to the feedback and see how we can fix the problems surrounding Azerite and ship our product with a well-designed and polished system. But that would never happen. Hell, I'm sure that the game developers just ignored or had to ignore the feedback surrounding the Azerite gear during alpha and beta testing, as they already kind of knew how uninspiring and lackluster the system would be. Alpha and beta testing expansions became more of a PR thing and not about developers actually listening to players' feedback. I don't know why, but it seems like each and every expansion Blizzard tries to reinvent the wheel with some sort of new system. They took out so many things in WoW over the past years that without these new systems, the game would be incredibly boring and bad. It's becoming a habit for them to rush out expansions so they can earn a big pile of cash when the game launches, and afterwards they can keep the money flowing through their loyal subscribers with promising them things like, it's fine, we know the current game has issues, but we will try to fix things in future patches, so please do stay subscribed. Although we knew the Azerite system had major flaws for more than 6 months. Even though the people at Blizzard were probably fully aware that the Azerite system was flawed, they still released it with barely any changes. Now we're almost 2 months into the new expansion and we're looking at over 40 plus uninteresting and uninspiring traits. They're consistently buffing and nerfing traits, which in my eyes kills character progression. Because if you're not checking things like, for example, Blood Mallet every other day or simming your character with every different Azerite trait, you probably have no idea if your current trait is still best in slot or not, which makes it almost impossible to target desirable Azerite traits, as your best in slot trait might no longer be best in slot by the end of the week. On top of that, you're not able to target and farm best in slot Azerite gear pieces, which for me personally is one of the most obscure and annoying things that currently exist in the game. While character progression should evolve around you being able to farm your best in slot pieces and knowing that, for example, Boss X drops your best in slot feed and trinket, which will remain best in slot for the entire raid tier. Currently, gearing up characters comes down to luck, and even when you're playing on the same difficulty, we will never be on an even playing field thanks to Warforging and the random Azerite gear drops. But that's for another video. It just comes down to the fact that I'm chasing this carrot for no reason at all, which triggers me so freaking hard. My Warlock and Warrior have cleared Heroic a number of times, and the first 2 bosses are Mythic as well, but on both characters I'm still wearing at least one 340 piece of Azerite gear, although I do have a higher piece of Azerite gear for that particular slot. The trade is just bad and the 340 trade is too strong. But don't worry guys, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, there is. Blizzard promised that they would try to fix the Azerite trades by adding another ring to the Azerite gear in patch 8.1. With new interesting class-specific Azerite traits, so in total you would have 2 class-specific Azerite traits per piece of Azerite gear, which in theory should spice up the Azerite gear and how we play with our characters. I don't get why Blizzard are making things so hard for themselves. How on earth did we get here? They took so much stuff away for the sake of class balancing, and right now they just keep making systems where there is absolutely no way in hell that they will be able to balance out the classes. I'm just sitting here thinking to myself like, why did you make and are you making so much different Azerite traits? It's going to be an absolute nightmare for them to balance out the game in patch 8.1. It literally blows my mind, and I'm not really looking forward to another patch where they're constantly hotfixing traits, buffing and nerfing classes with 10 to even 15%, and even stealth nerfing certain things, which just shows you how unprepared the whole Azerite system really is. My conclusion about the Azerite system for patch 8.1 in the future is that it's still going to be a shit show, but less of a shit show than it is right now. The problem is that the system is badly designed, but Blizzard just cannot remove it. BFA is based on Azerite, and believe it or not, we're going to be stuck with the system for another 2 years, and it might get a little bit better, but don't get your hopes up too high. At the end of the day, we will just have to accept the fact that we will be stuck with the system for the next 2 years, and we will just have to try and make the best of it. Personally, I think Blizzard did put themselves in this awkward situation. Classes played great in Legion because the artifact system worked. Hell, I'm even starting to miss legendaries. But in BFA, the Azerite system isn't working, and that's the main difference. Maybe next time Blizzard should take players' feedback to heart and fix things before they release an expansion, instead of making us pay for an unfinished game. A system like the Azerite gear should supplement gameplay and not be the core foundation on which the game is built. So to answer the question, will patch 8.1 fix the Azerite system? No, most likely not. However, it will be in a better state than it was in patch 8.0. Don't forget that the chances are pretty high that Blizzard is keeping the best and most interesting traits for near the end of the expansion. But then again, why wait up until the point where nobody's playing anymore? And that is again all for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Please let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the subject. By the way, I'm picking up streaming again, so for those of you who are interested, links are in the description. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel for more WoW content. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.